on countries with confirmed cases of the coronavirus outside of China, and Navision Public to expect more for Agriculture Open Day 2020 as director says they are on target. Regionally, Bahamas rejects IMF's $200 million Dorian offering. Internationally, backlash against Solu's Mitt Romney after he votes to convict Trump. And in sports, NABA Chargers beat the Uprisers in Junior Basketball League in St. Kitts. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. The 2019 novel coronavirus has caused countries around the world to take every precaution of guarding their borders in order to control its spread. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Customs and Immigration Department recently went through training on vetting persons coming into the Federation. A conference was held in collaboration with representatives from the World Health Organization to sensitize the public with an update on the virus and proper sanitation methods to avoid its spread. And the travel restriction and warning was declared for persons traveling from or in transit from Wuhan, China within the last 14 days. But are these enough to guard against the virus? To date, the virus has claimed 565 lives and has affected over 28,275 people in 25 countries worldwide. Given the rapid spreading of the novel coronavirus and the rising death toll, should citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis be concerned when traveling to other countries other than China? When asked by host of Let's Talk, Mr. Everett Ritter-Herbert, on this week's edition of the Let's Talk program, if there will be any travel restrictions for other countries with confirmed cases of the coronavirus, Medical Officer Dr. Judy Nisbet had this response.
The reason we are not too concerned about other countries is because there isn't any spread from person to person. The person-to-person spread is mainly in China. Persons that need to keep up with what's happening and to be vigilant because it's evolving and we learn something new every day. So if there is widespread between persons, then we will give other advisories and we ask persons to
use
be
their
vigilant.
common sense as well.
Medical Officer for the Ministry of Health, Dr. Judy Nisbet. The Agriculture Department here in Nevis is gearing up to host another Agriculture Open Day here on the island. The event, which is into its 26th edition, will be held on March 26th and 27th at the El Comido T. Willett Park in Charlestown. The theme under which this year's activity will be held is Stimulating Entrepreneurship and Gender Diversity while Combating Climate Change. The annual event is geared towards showcasing local produce and products, as well as to give local vendors an opportunity to generate income. Director of the department explained in an interview with the VON Newsline what the public can expect at the 2020 Open Day as it relates to the theme.
What you'll be seeing this year coming from the department is a little bit of each one of this displayed within the sectors of the department, from the extension booth, livestock sector, you'll see it within the agro-processors. That's basically what we're promoting this year.
The director further noted that the general public will see new additions to this year's festival.
We just came out of a meeting as it relates to preparations for Open Day. Basically, we're on target. There will be a number of new products from the abattoir, new products from the agro-processing, and new displays from the extension point of view also. The Department of Marine Resources, again, they'll be coming out with a number of new things this year. So we have a lot to show the public this year.
Director of Agriculture here on Nevis, Mr. Randy Elliott. Admission into the two-day event will be $5 EC. The St. Kitts Nevis Customs and Excise Department has engaged on a project which will see them trying to reduce the amount of paper in the environment. They are aiming to achieve this by embracing the use of online tools as part of a broader strategy to promote sustainability. This comes as the Customs and Excise Department in the Federation joined its counterparts across the world on Sunday, 26 January, to observe International Customs Day. The day was celebrated under the theme Customs Fostering Sustainability for People, Prosperity, and the Planet. Speaking on the Wednesday, 29th January edition of Working for You, Career Operations Manager Jervin Nisbet explained this goal to the department is trying to achieve.
One of the things we have been trying to accomplish is to arrive in that paperless environment. We are steadfast in achieving that goal, and like I said, we are just about there. We have a few things that we are going to be rolling out shortly, and we are going to be right there on the cutting edge of technology.
He further explained that it goes hand in hand with the department keeping up with today's evolving and technology, which allows individuals to a number of customs-related information online.
Right now you can go online, you could get all the customs information that you require. We have a lot of information available to you. So it's not like once ago when you had to run up Boardwalk or run to a customs office. You can sit at home, you can peruse our site, skncustoms.com. Now we have a very long list of items. You can actually go online and you can actually work out or calculate what your duties and taxes are going to be before you even make your purchase, so you can prepare yourself.
Customs Career Operations Manager Mr. Jervin Nisbet. What is the status with regards to the banning of single-use plastic here in St. Kitts and Nevis? The Nevis Island Administration in previous years announced its intention on supporting such a ban. With other Caribbean territories and countries across the world making the step and making it law, is the Twin Island nation too far behind? Speaking at his first press conference for 2020 on Tuesday, 28th January, Premier of Nevis, Honorable Mark Brantley, noted that Nevis is making the necessary steps towards this goal, but that a federal effort is needed to make the ban effective.
We have not yet reached a point of legislation. I think that initially Nevis has indicated its desire. We did that since the throne speech, so that's 2 years ago. We recognize, however, that it's difficult for Nevis to do it on its own. St. Kitts and Nevis have to do it together. I think there's been some movement in St. Kitts on that. What we're trying to do this year in Nevis is as a matter of policy. We already have some momentum for it. I've made the announcement that we would like to introduce that ban, and we see that some of the restaurants, hotels have voluntarily decided. I have already asked PS2 and the people at our supply office to source replacement materials so that we get, instead of plastic, paper straws. But you go to most restaurants now in Nevis, they're using paper straws. They've adjusted. So what we're trying to provide on this is some leadership. Just as we're planting 10,000 trees, we're providing some leadership so that people understand that environmentally it's important not to use the plastics and the styrofoams.
Premier of Nevis, Honorable Mark Brantley. The Integrity in Public Life IPL Commission has a new Chief Executive Officer, CEO, in the person of Mr. Albert Edwards of Spooner's Keon St. Kitts. According to a release from the Commission, the CEO will be responsible for the daily administration of the Office of the Integrity Commission, develop policies, programs and procedures, and advise on a broad range of operational matters, including its financial performance. Mr. Edwards has served over 37 years in the civil services of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Turks and Caicos Islands and holds a bachelor's degree in accounting as well as an MBA in finance. He also holds the designation of CGFM, Certified Government Financial Manager, from the Association of Government Accountants in Virginia, USA. The Integrity in Public Life IPL Commission was established to ensure integrity in public life, to make provisions for a code of conduct, to obtain declarations of the assets, liabilities, income, and interest in relation to property of persons in public life, such as government ministers. Crime is still a major issue of concern for people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The typical target groups for reform projects to reduce many criminal activities is usually young and unemployed men, stereotyped by their attire, age, and inexperience with the world of work. But what of the men and women in formal wear that have achieved much but decide to engage in criminal activity such as money laundering? On this week's edition of Working for You, representatives from the St. Kitts Financial Service Regulatory Commission, FSRC, spoke of the need for companies and NGOs to be formally registered and go through the appropriate channels when dealing with their finances. They also encourage companies to refrain from illegal activity such as money laundering. In the prelude that it may appear to be faster and better for struggling persons to engage in money laundering and other criminal financial activities to achieve wealth, the host of the program, Mr. Lesroy Williams, posed these questions. Is crime more profitable than lawful work? And how do we get people to start thinking morally? Registrar of Companies and Registrar of the Non-Governmental Organizations, Ms. Renee Gums, did not address the first question directly, but she gave this comment with regards to the second.
That message should be conveyed in the home by the parents in terms of raising well-intentioned children that understand they have a moral obligation to stay on the right side of the law, because as an upcoming citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, you have an obligation first to yourself, your family, and any affiliation that you have. So that message should be conveyed at the home level before you even become an adult.
Ms. Renee Gums. The National Assembly will convene on Wednesday, February 12th at 10 a.m. at the National Assembly Chambers, Government Headquarters, Bastyr in St. Kitts. This notice has been given for a sitting of the National Assembly. The last sitting was held on Thursday, January 23rd. At the last sitting, Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris presented the Virtual Assets Bill 2020, Money Services Business Amendment Bill 2019, Anti-Money Laundering National Committee Bill 2019, and Non-Governmental Organizations Amendment Bill 2019. Attorney General Senator the Honorable Vincent Byron Jr. also moved the second reading of Proceeds of Crime and Asset Recovery Bill 2019. And finally, as the Department of Youth Empowerment launched its Youth Art Exhibition, art supplies were presented to representatives from the 6 public high schools in St. Kitts on Wednesday, February 5th. The event features virtual art pieces produced by young people between the ages of 12 and 35. The pieces can be either paintings, sculptures, drawings, and the like. Acting Director of the Department of Youth Empowerment, Pierre Liebert, expressed pleasure in hosting this event for the second consecutive year. Meantime, art supplies will also be presented to the Clarence Fitzroy Bryan College CFBC in St. Kitts, as well as the Gingerland and Charlestown Secondary High Schools and the Nevis Sixth Form College in Nevis. The pieces must reflect an aspect of one of 3 thematic areas: I Am We, SKN Proud, and the Buckley's Uprising. The exhibition opens on February 27th at the Open Creative Campus at Fort Lands. All artists between the ages of 12 and 35 who are interested in participating in the event are asked to visit the Department of Youth Empowerment in the Cable Building on Keon Street or telephone 467-1393 for more information. That's the National News segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
We know you have your personal as well as your business needs, and we're here to help. Our knowledgeable staff will work with you to help you achieve the financial success that you or your company needs in a competitive market. We offer solutions to make your banking experience easier, like our savings and checking accounts. Be sure to ask about our youth savers accounts in our Bank of Nevis Go Club. We offer a wide range of personal loans, including mortgage, land, student, auto, and consumer loans. Have access to your funds instantly with our Be Online internet banking and our debit and credit cards. We make international banking and investing easy. How's your business? Give it the leverage it really needs by letting the Bank of Nevis assist you with all the necessary funding for all your business expenses. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/The Bank of Nevis.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. The Bahamas will not be taking up the International Monetary Fund's IMF offer of up to $200 million in concessionary funding for Hurricane Dorian recovery, the Deputy Prime Minister has confirmed. Peter Turnquist stated, "Yes, the IMF has offered unconditional rapid financing at concessional rates. This financing offer is not a part of the financing mix currently contemplated," he stated. Marlon Johnson, the Ministry of Finance's acting financial secretary, similarly affirmed, "We don't intend that as part of our financing mix." He explained that the $200 million facility offered was part of the typical financing instruments that the IMF makes available to countries that have suffered natural disasters, as the Bahamas did with Dorian, to assist their reconstruction efforts and economic recovery. Explaining that it was different from the assistance provided to states undergoing structured reforms or encountering balance of payments difficulties, Mr. Johnson added, "They do have these facilities available for countries going through what we did with Dorian in terms of providing short-term financing, according to Tribune242.com. Out of Jamaica. Residents of Clarendon South East will vote for a new Member of Parliament in another 4 weeks, following the resignation of Rudyard Spencer on Tuesday night. Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced on Wednesday that March 2, 2020, is the date for the by-election in the Southern constituency, less than 24 hours after it was announced in Parliament that Spencer, who served as MP for 18 years and was State Minister of the Ministry of National Security, was stepping down from representational politics with immediate effect. Caribbean 360 says nomination day is February 12th. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Pernell Charles Jr., will be the standard bearer for the ruling Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, in the Clarendon South East constituency. The opposition People's National Party, PNP, said it will not contest a by-election so soon before the next general election, which is constitutionally due by February 25th next year. Out of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Kimo Riley of St. Thomas pleaded guilty on Tuesday to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute cocaine, United States Attorney Gretchen C.F. Shepard announced. Curtis V. Gomez, Chief Judge of District Court of the Virgin Islands, accepted the guilty plea. In his plea agreement, Riley admitted to mailing a package to an individual in New York containing more than 250 grams of cocaine concealed in candy bar wrappers on May 28, 2019. Riley faces up to 20 years imprisonment, a 3-year term of supervised release, and a fine of up to $1 million. Judge Gomez scheduled defendant Riley's sentencing for June 4, 2020 at 9 a.m., VIConsortium.com says. The case was investigated by the U.S. Postal Services and the Department of Homeland Security and is being prosecuted by Assistant United States Attorneys Jennifer Blanchard and Nathan Brooks. And finally, out of Barbados. There are no cases of coronavirus in Barbados. Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Arthur Phillips has also cautioned Barbadians against spreading rumors which had the potential to create unnecessary panic in the island. According to nationnews.com, Mr. Phillips said the Ministry of Health and Wellness had instituted very strong surveillance measures at the island's ports of entry, which had so far proven very effective. That's it for the regional stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back. Now the international news in detail. Utah Republican Senator Mitt Romney is facing a backlash from Republicans angered by his decision to vote against Donald Trump in his impeachment trial. The failed 2012 presidential candidate made history on Wednesday as the first U.S. senator to vote to remove a president from their own party. Republican figures, including Mr. Trump himself, have slammed him as a sore loser and a secret Democrat. Mr. Trump was acquitted in the Senate despite Mr. Romney's lone dissent vote. Influential figures in conservative media called on Mr. Romney to step down from the Republican Party, with one claiming that she would move to Utah to run to unseat him in 2024. On Thursday morning, President Trump took a swipe at him when addressing the National Prayer Breakfast, criticizing people who use their faith to justify wrong actions. The House Speaker said her actions were justified when she ripped up President Trump's State of the Union manifesto. During his address on Tuesday, he hailed the Great American Comeback. Mr. Trump also accused Democrats of planning to force American taxpayers to provide unlimited free health care to undocumented immigrants, to which Mrs. Pelosi was observed twice mouthing, "Not true." U.S. President Trump has been found not guilty in his impeachment trial, ending a bid to remove him from office that bitterly divided the U.S. The Senate, run by the president's fellow Republicans, voted to acquit him 52-48 on charges of abuse of power and 53-47 on obstruction of Congress. Democrats charged Mr. Trump in December with pressuring Ukraine to smear a potential White House rival. He is now the first impeached president to seek re-election. Impeachment allows Congress, the part of the U.S. government that writes and brings in laws, to put presidents on trial. It is a rare event and a political process rather than a criminal one. And finally, a Chinese newborn has been diagnosed with the new coronavirus just 30 hours after birth. The youngest case recorded so far, state media said. The baby was born on Sunday, 2nd February, in Wuhan, the epicenter of the virus. The baby's mother tested positive before she gave birth. It is unclear how the disease was transmitted, in the womb or after birth. Only a handful of children have come down with the virus, which has killed 565 people and infected over 28,000. Meanwhile, local authorities across China are introducing restricted measures to slow the spread of the deadly coronavirus. China's ambassador to Britain, Liu Shuowing, said the Chinese government was confident on beating the virus.
Although the large number have been affected, the mortality rate in China, which stands at 2.1%, is very low. In the United States, more than 19 million people have fallen ill with the flu so far this season, and we are fully confident in beating the virus.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
TDC Automotive invites one and all to TDC Tire World. Buy 3 tires, get the 4th tire absolutely free.
Say what?
Yeah! Buy 3, get 1 free is back at TDC Tire World. All brands, all sizes, installation and balancing free with every set purchase. TDC Automotive, we're known for a reason. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In local sports, NBA charges went up against the Bird Rock Uprisers on Sunday, February 2nd, as the ongoing Junior Basketball League being held in St. Kitts continues. The Nevis team defeated the Bird Rock Uprisers 88 points to 77 points. In more local sports, The Ivy Walters Primary School held its annual cross-country races last Friday. The points for the respective houses are as follows. Green House 227 points, Red House 210 points, Gold House 167 points. In more sports. Here are the scores for last evening's basketball games. Pistons beat the Suns 116 to 108. Raptors beat the Pacers 119 to 118. Celtics beat Magic 116 to Nets. Celtics beat Magic 116 to 100. Nets defeated the Warriors 129 to 88. Thunder defeated the Cavs 109 to 103. Hawks beat the Timberwolves 127 to 120. Grizzlies beat the Mavericks 121 to 107. Nuggets defeated the Jazz 98 to 95, and the Clippers beat the Heat 128 to 111. In cricket. Cricket West Indies CWI selection panel named the 15-member squad for the upcoming one-day international ODI series against Sri Lanka. The squad will depart the Caribbean on Saturday and will have a pre-series camp in Colombo before they face the host in 3 ODIs. Darren Bravo, the experienced left-hander, has been recalled to the squad along with Rovman Powell, the dynamic all-rounder, and Fabian Allen, the spin bowling all-rounder, who has recovered from the leg injury he sustained in India late last year. Left-handed batsmen Ewan Lewis and Shimron Hetmeyer have been omitted from the squad, which played the recent Colonial Medical Insurance ODI series against Ireland after failing to attain the new minimum standard fitness requirements in recent fitness assessments. Full squad: Karen Pollard, captain; Shea Hope, vice-captain; Fabian Allen; Sunil Ambrose; Darren Bravo; Rustin Chase; Sheldon Cottrell; Jason Holder; Azari Joseph; Brandon King; Kimo Paul; Nicholas Puran; Rovman Powell; Romario Shepard, and Hayden Walsh. And finally, in athletics. Jamaican sprinting prodigy Brianna Williams will line up against one of her idols, Allyson Felix, in the 60 meters at the 113th staging of the Melrose Games on Saturday in New York. Williams, the 2018 World Under-20 Sprint double champion, has been drawn in lane 7, just outside of Felix in lane 6. The 17-year-old Williams has a personal best of 7.25 seconds while finishing second at the Clemson Indoor Meet on January 11th. The 34-year-old Felix, who is twice Williams' age, is one of the most decorated athletes of all time, inclusive of 6 Olympic gold and 13 World Championships gold. That's it for sports. The General Weather Report is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy with a brief cloudy spells and a 50% or moderate chance of showers. Winds are east at 12 to 18 knots or 22 to 33 kilometers per hour. Seas are 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 5 to 6 feet. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:41 a.m. And that's a wrap up the Mid News package for today, Thursday, February 6, 2020. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, will there be future travel restrictions on countries with confirmed cases of the coronavirus outside of China? And Nevision Public to expect more for Agriculture Open Day 2020 as director says they are on target. Regionally, Bahamas rejects IMF's $200 million Dorian offering. Internationally, backlash against sore loser Mitt Romney after he votes to convict Trump. And in sports, NABA charges beat the Uprisers in Junior Basketball League in St. Kitts. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.